this video, I would be sharing with you my personal experience, how I became a full stack developer and having my own SaaS startup, and how I've been handling my projects, how I handle my client, how I handle my teamwork and all. I would be sharing a couple of tools with you. I would be sharing some of my projects that I do. I would be giving you my personal advice also that I used to follow in this. One thing note, please also take care of your circumstances and your situation. It may not be like all my advice and things would be seen or applicable at your side also. So think of it first and then please put it into action. So if you're going to start with a full stack development program, or if you're going to so if you're going to start with the full stack development and you are ready to onboard certain clients for your project. So if you're going to start with the full stack development and you are finding some work, or so if you have started your full stack development and you know that you have a good understanding of any language like lamb stack or mon stack or any Django framework, maybe you're using some kind of framework or language you're using in your background to make your application, and you have done like at least 5 to 6 projects and like 2 years of experience in programming, creating projects for startups or any business or someone, then I think you are ready to go and start and kick off your individual journey. So in order to find some particular, first step is like finding potential clients and looking for them. How I started was I went to this platform. So freelancer.com is like one of the platform on which I went, and this is the place I feel like getting started up, as it was easy to communicate and easy to onboard few starting clients. A couple of things that I would like to tell you guys before you jump into, like, if you're really starting with your projects and with your clients. Number one thing is that you need to be really brief on what requirements you are going to take from your on the projects or whatever things you are going to do. In certain times or in certain cases, it happens like things are not clear at the first stage. Then client starts to give you more and more requirements in between of that, and sometimes it also become like quite challenging and quite kind of a headache for you yourself also. So it is better to actually, understand the outcome and make a, business scope document or do a due diligence of your entire product, what the client is trying to make. And then certainly, have certain milestones ready, had certain, steps ready, and make it in form of a contract, and make sure that contract is being shared with the client and client is also agreed. Then only you can decide the charges, then and only you can decide the payment according to what you want. So this is like one of the mistakes that I did at the very first time. Like, I was going to start and doing my freelance business, in which actually some of my clients I didn't took the requirement in the early stage, and it becomes headache and challenging over time it goes, because obviously there are like thousands or millions of people who are doing such kind of thing. Development, IT development is like a lot of people, and in order to you to get your first client, and you know that you don't have any kind of rating or any kind of reviews, then on the last steps have left for you is to compromise of the pricing. So obviously that you would be selling or giving certain services in way more cheaper price as compared to other development, and that is how people will get attracted to you. Other than that, you also need to make sure you have certain script, how you are going to pitch, how you are going to answer the questions, and you need to be confident at least in your language that you are going to speak. I personally speak English with most of my clients, and I think that's what most of the people speak all over the globe. So if you're really good into it, stick to it. If the client is from your native country, feel free to talk to him in the native language of yours. English is not a restriction, I would say, but if you are having a client from Europe or from USA or Canada side, obviously you're going to stick with English. So make sure you have these things in your mind. make sure you go and go to sign up, and it's like very easy process of signing up. You don't need to have at least if you are living in India. Like for me, I actually need to have a GSTIN, which allows me to do my business and all. So you also need to go and have a little bit digging into how you can get into a business and how you can get into taxes and all, because after certain stage of time you are going to earn a quite amount of money, and you really don't want to keep that money at one place. You really need to pay taxes, and you really need to avoid getting in troubles. So one platform is freelancer.com, as I told you. Another one that you want to go and do it is Fiverr. Now Fiverr is also quite a nice place to offer your gigs or services to the people out there. It takes some time in starting for you, at least 2 to 3 months for getting your first client. But it's also a really nice platform. As you grows into it, it offers you a lot amount of services, lot amount of work. So one is Fiverr, and then one of our favorite is Upwork. Now, personally, I found these three platform most of like what I also use for my work in the early stage starting. There are other platforms also like people per hour. Let me also show you that. Now there's this platform like people per hour and all, but due to certain restriction and all, I was not able to use this in my in Asia, in India actually. So you guys can also go and try. Feel free to go and look into these freelancing platforms that I have given to you, and it will help you to get your first at least basic or starters customer. And trust me, if you guys go along with the road and keep the things in mind, you guys will also able to get a good amount of customer base, and you will be also earning a lot amount of money. Other than this, there's also a couple of things that you can showcase your services, like patreon.com is one of them. Now Patreon allows you to go and create your services. Let me show you my one. So my one is patreon.com slash. So this is my Patreon site, and you can see like I offer a couple of my services up here. Down going, I give them my consultation and all these services. I have a couple other services down below. So you can just share this link with your clients, and it will give them a nice brief introduction what kind of service you are going to offer, what are perks you are going to give, how it is going to cost to them. So it is a free tool, and it's a nice tool also, I would say, to create your service listing kind of thing, and it's really good for collection and payroll and all those. This is also one of the thing I would recommend to you. uh, Keep one thing in mind, like on freelancer.com you have to pitch to the client, so it's not like clients and people are going to come and ask to you. It can happen if they are finding, but most of the time what happens that there are projects and you are going to submit your presentation and pitching. You have to do that thing if you are even starting. In Fiverr, what happens is that the people will approach to you. It's not like you're going to pitch to their project. It also happens, but the first way Fiverr does is like the client actually calls to you. Same goes for Upwork. Upwork is both ways, but again, like on Upwork, people can also find their talent. They can, like, if you want, you can find developers on Upwork. And other than this, you can also offer or pitch or give certain presentation on a particular gig or projects which are getting offered. So keep these things in mind. I personally don't know about people per hour, as really I didn't try it, but it's same as of Upwork, that you are going to have, you can see these freelancers and then you can talk to them and they will like work for you. Now, talking apart from all these sites, these are like freelancer site that I personally tried, and you can also use it. Now, in terms of payment processing and all, you need to have two accounts. One is on Payoneer. Yeah, one is on Payoneer and another one is on PayPal. So I would recommend to go and have these two accounts actually in on these two platforms. It allows you to collect the payment mostly all over the world. Mostly it works like all over the countries. And on Fiverr and Upwork and Patreon or freelancer.com, there's an easy integration with Payoneer and PayPal. So if you have an account enrolled in these two platforms, it will be really easy for you to actually withdraw those money into your personal bank account. Now, if your personal bank account is supporting international transactions and it allows you to quicker, as because these platforms are going to have their own third party fees and they are going to take like 5-3% of what you're actually earning. So make sure these things are there, because in my case, Payoneer actually charges $3 in every transaction, and in case of PayPal, it is like 5% of whatever you have earned. It is going to charge that as a processing fees. So make sure you have taken all these things into consideration. But my recommendation is, if you want to integrate payment and all to these freelancing platform for carrying your or withdrawing your funds, these two are the most widely used and trustable company. Now, other than payroll and management, if you now this is the important stuff. Once you are having your clients onboarded in your particular domain, you need to also provide them maintenance. You need to also provide them support. Don't think that your clients has came, you make the project and they have gone. Do not never do that thing. Okay, if you are going to make a long-term relationship with the clients, even 5 to 6 clients, if you do the projects really good and you are going to have a relationship, I'm telling you, can earn up to $800 a month from those clients, and they will also stick with you for a longer period of time. So for sticking and communication, you can use something called as Slack. Now, in these cases, what happens is that certain times client also ask you for your contact number and WhatsApp. I personally don't recommend you to go and give your contact details like that. If you are having a separate contact information, that is totally fine. But if you're not having it, I recommend you to actually give add to your Slack channel. Slack is a free tool again, and all these things that I'm telling to you, it's not like you have to pay a certain money. They are like free tier in all of these, so it's very good thing to communicate well and have a good amount of communication and sharing all those things with your client. Another one is Skype. Yeah, Skype is another one. Then we have Discord. Now, Discord is something like I would not recommend you to use this in this kind of scenarios. But if your clients do have a Discord account, or mostly in Netherlands and European region, people have a Discord account, so you can ask them for getting connected with you on Discord. Or the last option that we left is then inviting them on your teams, or uh, so now this is something that I don't think they would be having at the first place. Microsoft Teams, most of my client, if I talk to them, they are really good with Skype. Then comes to Slack and Discord, and I really don't think Microsoft Teams is really an option. But these are a couple of platforms that I would recommend to you if you want to have a good amount of communication. And trust me, you really don't need a whole kind of workspace or work suite to manage all these things. There are free tools which is available out there, like for managing your, if you have certain interns or you have certain employees in your company, you can use something called as Work Here. Now, what Work Here allows you to do is that it allows you to manage your employees, what the task they are doing, how much time they are contributing, all these things it allows you to do. So it's also free, so you really don't need to pay for certain money. You can go and sign up for the free tier plan. Then we have certain other things like for wireframing and all. We can use something like Figma. Now, Figma is a nice tool which actually provides a whole bunch of it's not only for designing, so don't think like you're going to come and you're going to design. You can also make some very basic structure, basic wireframes and all, and you can offer to those to your there are a lot of tools like this which is available out there, and they are really free, so it's really not like you're going to pay to them, at least for starting, and it's really going to help you. Now, for meetings and all that, I would recommend you, if you don't have a good account, like you don't own a Google Workspace, or you don't have a Microsoft Teams, or Office 365 subscription, the easiest way I would tell to you is to go and make an app, or go and use Google Meet. Now, Google Meet is like one of the mostly used. This is, let me get it in this. Yeah, here you go. Now, Google Meet is like one of the mostly used video conferencing tool, and it's very easy. You just go create a link, a small link. Let me show to you. Open this at your end. It will be in your language actually. So you just need to create, I have not signed up to my account, but you just need to go and create a link. It will give you a small link and you can just share that link to your clients and they will just connect it with you on the conference. Make sure to use couple other tools up here like whiteboard. A whiteboard is a very important tool which helps you actually to go and represent what your ideas are or what you are thinking, or any kind of collaboration like you want to check with your clients, or it helps you to present your idea in much way simpler form. So make sure to use this kind of I will give all these links in the description, you can check it out. But make sure to use these kinds of tools out there. It helps you to get better understanding. Make sure you are having a good amount of notes and keeping all the sticky notes with you in case of anything your clients ask or say. Make sure all the things and everything is well documented and well written, and your clients also agrees on the payment and the time that you're going to consume, because it's really a headache when things does not go as planned and then people starts to bombard. So make sure all these things are kept in mind. Now, again, if you are a developer, I know I don't really need to tell you guys, but you can use something like VS Studio Code. Oh, this is like one of the most popular out there code editing tool offered. So you can use Video Studio Code. It's free. Again, I think you guys know about these all things. And then talking about these things, one important thing I would tell you, if you are a web developer, you can use Chrome developer tools. Now, this is one option to use. It's really easy to debug and what is there inside your code. It's really help you to grab it down. With the time, it will help you also to debug and analyze all these, how to use application network recording. Even like Lighthouse is one of the extension that I use. You can search Lighthouse too. Is for analyzing my website, how it is performing. Or then you can also download a more lighter plugin like this thing that I use. Uh, this thing. Mozilla Developer Edition is like premium, I would say, and it's really good and lightweighted. Offered from Mozilla itself, like Firefox browser, which is a developer edition, and it's really easy, good for me to debug. And most of the time, I really like to use this, Firefox developer edition tool to inspect and debug my code instead of using something like Chrome or Chromium or all these things. Now, these are all up to you. Like again, like you can choose the things that you require or you are really good in hands-on or you have an experience in. Talking about the let's talk about the operating system now. So for me, like I use most of the time I use Windows for coding and all. For actually, if you are using Ubuntu, I would recommend using Ubuntu or CentOS for Linux. Other than there are different flavors also which is available, but I have really no experience in using. Most of them would be similar only because Linux is actually what the kernel powers it, almost all of them. But for me, I uses Windows for most of my development. Some of my work also happens, and I do it using Ubuntu, which I have installed on my hard drive, and I dual boot my PC. Now, if you want to see what tools other I use Office 365 for documentation and all. We also have like Google Docs. If you're not having a subscription or you don't have an Office account, you can go and use Google's Google Docs or Google Slides. All of them are free. It's not going to cost you a single penny. So it's really good tool to use it, and will give you at least all the basic requirements what you will be needing for starters. So that's also good. And other than this, like you can use the mail app that I use. You can use a Photoshop if you are into editing and all. I use Photoshop for editing my logos and favicon and couple of things. I use Slack for most of the communication. Then I talk to you about Discord. Oh yeah, I also use Zoom. Now Zoom, like I didn't talk about Zoom. Zoom is like a video conference, and you can use Zoom also with Google Meet, but I think Google Meet is quite lightweighted and easy for me most of the time to create a link and send to my clients. It's like 9 to 12 digit of code that they provide to us that I just need to send it, and it's really easy. Now I use calendar most of the time to mark my schedules. Now, keep these things in mind that you are, yeah, here you go. Ajay forgot like why it was not coming. So I now keep these things in mind that you are not going to have all the events and calendaring in your head. Make sure you use these types of tool or Google Calendar at least to book your appointments, book your meeting. Make sure these meetings are not overlapping with each other. It's really a headache when these things happen. And make sure there's at least 15 or 30 minutes time gap between one to another meeting so you can prepare really good for yourself. So it was all like this was all about in today's video. It's like very small, I know, but we would be coming with similar videos in future in which I would be talking more about the SaaS development and consultation and how you can approach and document your stuff, how to do all kind of due diligence and things. So please stay tuned with it, and I hope I see you in next video.